Hardliner Raisi will become president of Iran. Hardliner Ebrahim Raisi has won Iran's presidential election in a race that was widely seen as being designed to favor him. He thanked Iranians for their support after securing 62% of the votes. Mr. Raisi is Iran's top judge and holds ultra-conservative views. He is under US sanctions and has been linked to past execution of political prisoners. Iran's president is the second highest ranking official in their country after the supreme leader. Mr. Raisi will be inaugurated in early August and will have significant influence over domestic policy and foreign affairs. But in Iran's political system, it is the country's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, the top religious cleric who has the final say on all state matters. Iran is run according to conservative Islamic values, and there have been curbs on political freedom since its Islamic revolution in 1979. Many Iranians saw this latest election as been engineered for Mr. Raisi to win and shone the poll. Official figures showed voter turnout was the lowest ever for presidential election at 48.8% compared to more than 70% for the previous vote in 2017. Now let me tell you if you don't know who is Ebrahim Raisi. The 60 years old cleric has served as a prosecutor for most of his career. He was appointed head of the judiciary in 1929, 2 years after he lost by a landslide to Hassan Rouhani in the last presidential election. Mr. Raisi has presented himself as the best person to fight corruption and solve Iran's economic problems. Our people's grievances over shortcomings are real, he said as he cast his vote in Tehran. He is fiercely loyal to Iran's ruling clerics and has been seen as a possible successor to Ayatollah Khamenei as the country's supreme leader. Many Iranians and rights groups have pointed to Mr. Raisi's role in the mass execution of political prisoners in 1980s. He was one of 4 judges who oversaw death sentences for about 5,000 prisoners according to Amnesty International. That Ebrahim Raisi has risen to the presidency instead of being investigated for the crimes against humanity of murder, enforced disappearance and torture is a grim reminder that impunity reigns supreme in Iran, said Amnesty Chief Agent Kalamar. Iran has never acknowledged the mass execution and Mr. Raisi has never addressed the allegation about his role in them. Amnesty also says that as the head of the judiciary, Mr. Raisi oversaw impunity for officials and security forces accused of killing protesters during unrest in 2019. What does his win mean for Iran and the world? Mr. Raisi has promised to ease unemployment and work to remove US sanctions that have contributed to economic hardship for ordinary Iranians and caused widespread discontent. BBC Persian correspondent Parsa Naji adds that under Mr. Raisi, Iran's hardliners will seek to reinforce a puritanical system of Islamic government, possibly meaning more controls on social activities, fewer freedoms and jobs for women and tighter control of social media and the press. The hardliners are suspicious of the West, but both Mr. Raisi and Supreme Leader Khamenei favor a return to an international deal on Iran's nuclear activity. The Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, signed in 2015, gave Iran relief from Western sanctions in return for limiting its nuclear activities. The US pulled out the deal in 2018 and President administration reimposed crippling limits on Iran's ability to trade. Mr. Raisi was among the official sanctions. Iran has responded by restarting nuclear operations that were banned under the deal. Talks aimed at recirculating the deal are ongoing in Vienna, with President Joe Biden also keen to revive it. But both sides say the other must make the first move. So this was all about the Mr. Raisi becoming the next president of Iran. And how will it affect the world and the Iran economy? So this article was taken from BBC News. You can learn more from bbcnews.com. This was for today's video. Thank you so much for watching.